Hello guys, me again. Today I'm just sitting in the yard, nothing to do, so I'm just thought I'd make a video for you lot because I ain't made one in a while. So I thought I'd answer a few questions regarding what type of van and all that stuff and blah 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 blah. I don't run a small van, so I can't comment on that. I don't run a Luton van, so I run long wheelbase and extra long wheelbase. For us it works because you can carry more stuff and we carry more weight compared to a Luton van and everything else, so for us it works better. So if I had to get another van, it's probably going to be another long wheel or extra long wheel based on what we're doing. So it depends on what you're doing, but I feel like for someone who's got their own van and they want to work for themselves, there's more money in that because everything that you get is your profit. But for someone like me who have to pay the drivers, you know, so obviously we have to make sure we get the maximum profit, and then we make sure that we charge the correct amount. We don't charge the discount amount, because I'd rather not make any money but break even and pay the driver and then pay my fuel than me charging low and actually lose while I'm also paying the driver. So for me, it's not, I'm never gonna go cheaper than what I normally charge. For example, if I'm going 5 miles on an extra long wheelbase, not even 1 mile on an extra 1.9 mile on an extra long wheelbase, my minimum things gonna be 50 quid. Simple. There is no negotiation about it. We charge 50 quid. That's it. Because that's what we're gonna charge. It doesn't matter if it's 1 mile or 0.5 miles, 50 quid. If you don't want it, you don't want it. If you want it, you want it. And that's what we charge. You have to quote the correct amount. Don't quote something because, I don't know, because you're desperate. I just don't feel quoting when you're desperate makes sense. Anyway, so that's one. Secondly, some of the shippers, they don't know you. And then that's another thing. They will be nice to you in the beginning, and then next minute they turn on you. So for example, I'll give you a quick example. You have to be careful on something like waiting time and all that stuff. Personally, when we're waiting, a lot of people say, I'll complete the job and then we'll talk about waiting time. Nah, don't do that. Don't complete the job and talk about waiting. You talk about waiting time when you finish loading, then you know your waiting time from there, because they need to tell you how much you're gonna pay for that waiting time. And before you move, they have to change it on the CX. Don't move before they change it, because we've been hurt before with that stuff where you trust someone and you complete the job and they're like, oh, well, our waiting time is £30 an hour, and they're like, oh, we don't pay more than £10 an hour. You know, that's where the problem starts. All right. So when they're talking about waiting time, make sure that when you load the work, and unless you've been working an hour and a half, so they have to pay you an hour. When you load the stuff, I agree the waiting time then, and then update on the CX, because most companies, they're gonna try and be crooks and say to you, oh, let's complete the job first. No, none of that. Make sure your waiting time is agreed before you move, and it's changed on the CX. Make sure everything is changed on the CX is agreed and you move, because if you don't and you go somewhere and you drop it off and they don't pay you waiting time, you can't argue, because there's nothing that can prove that you had a discussion about the waiting time. So I know it sounds a bit like you can't trust people, but that's the type of business you're in. You do not move until the waiting time is agreed. Same thing with handballing and everything else. Do not just wait until that's agreed and say, I can tell you, if you're starting, this is what's gonna happen. You're gonna say, oh, I'm gonna move them. Nah, wait until they tell you what the waiting time was. You agreed your price, they change on the CX, then you make your move. So that's on waiting time, and obviously that's on waiting time. What else is there that I feel like you should know when you're starting? When you're starting, what else you should know? Why? Another thing, when you're quoting, you have to quote in this is the way I look at it, right? Because I have a driver. You have to quote the hourly rate of the driver, the wear and tear, the fuel per mile, and what else is there? And how long it can possibly take you. That job shouldn't take you more than 3 hours. But let's say if you quoted £50, for example, right? For me, that job should take a maximum of an hour or an hour and a half, right? Maximum, like a mile. this is what I'll call 50 quid on. So make sure that that's include, like, you include all of that in it, because you need to make sure that you're making money based on, the longer you wait, the longer you know your wheels are not turning, you're not making any peace. So another thing, if you're in the Heathrow area, I'll say make sure you get your I see that's that cargo thing. I don't know what it's called again. I think it's a D something, right? You make sure you get that, because you got some jobs where you have a lot of waiting time, and they pay the waiting time, and they also pay you on top of the job. So if you don't want to do a lot of wear and tear on your van, and you just want to do the airport work, that would be something for you, and it's good money. Do you know what I mean? It's 24 hours as well, so it's good money, because Heathrow run 24 hours. So get a car, what is it called again? Cargo something. Anyway, someone who does it will know. Get that. That's good if you want to keep, if you just like waiting, right? That's a good job. We do it sometime, so it's good money, because you're not burning any diesel, you're just sitting there and just waiting. Yeah, and make sure you agree the waiting time before. I always send the quotation with my waiting time on there, so they can't argue it, so they know that it's on there. Handballing with certain people, certain companies gonna be crooks. I can't say the name, but one of the names is start with Crown. They're funny. So for example, handballing, they'll be like, oh, you have to handball because our insurance, our clients are not allowed to get into your van to offload. That's bollocks. Right? I got caught. They done that to me once, and I'm thinking, okay, they might be right, but they're not, because sometimes when you go to Hermes in Hayes, Feltham, they don't even let you come near the van. They get there, they offload it themselves, so they can't tell you 1 minute, oh, our clients want you to offload, and they can't and at the same time they can also tell you that they can't get on the van and offload. Listen, if you offloading, yeah, and there's like 50 boxes or something, you have to charge handballing. Don't be nice about stuff like that. You're here to make money, right? Don't listen to all these shippers. That one of them once told me, we had a problem with him. One of them once told me, oh, well, you're a courier, you're meant to offload and unload. Nah, it doesn't work like that. You book me based on my terms and conditions, right? And my terms and conditions says this is what you pay when you offload. That's the way it is. Simple. And now most of them will be like, oh, you should read our terms and condition. No, I don't need to read the terms and condition. When I'm booking the job, how can I go through the terms and condition from your website when I'm booking the job? Like, it doesn't make sense. Like, when I'm sending the job, it doesn't say terms, unless there's notes there, it doesn't say anything. But when I'm sending you, when I'm accepting your job, my one comes with the notes that tells you what's what and what's what. Do you get what I'm saying? So yeah, that's one of them stuff. I just feel like when you're new, people just take the piss, right? And then they were like, oh, they only can leave a bad feedback if you done something wrong. Yeah, but if you haven't done nothing wrong, then don't have it. I just feel like you need to be careful with people like that. There's a lot of them that are gonna try to mug you off because you're new. Yeah, make sure you stand your ground on anything they do. I just feel like people just take the piss. Even the ADR runs, you know, like one of the guys that said it on YouTube, I forgot his name. He's a good guy. I listen to stuff most of the time regarding I might put an ADR run and then I don't get the price I want, so I change it to a normal run, and then you not knowing that you're carrying an ADR run. Do you know what I mean? It's just, they will find any way for you to move them stuff for cheaper. That's what they do. That's what they're there for. Don't be friendly with them. I'll take that back. Be friendly, but be careful. All right, because some of them will fuck you over just so they can move they can move that good. They can move the goods. So you gotta be careful with certain stuff, right? If it looks too good to be true, don't fucking have it. So, I mean, you have to look at it properly, all right? And I always look at what kind of shippers are, the way they talk on the phone and all that stuff. If they're a bit confrontational and all that stuff, I don't want the job, man. So, I mean, I'm not that desperate. Just don't take it, because you're gonna end up having issues with them. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like everything that you do, you go just, if you don't feel like, if they feel rude or anything like that, yeah, just don't do it. You know, don't do it. Payment wise, even the same thing with payment. Someone is late a couple of times, right? Next time they come up on there, don't be desperate and book it. If you book it, then you're gonna have an issue with payment later on. So I just feel like, for example, me now, my payment terms, I normally to pay people in 14 days, right? Now my payment term is changing to 30 days after invoice, right? Which is still pretty good, because I'm still gonna pay you before the 30th day, the 30 days situation. But I just had to change it because it was just a lot of invoice to pay at the same time. So for me, that's my payment thing. Payment is important because you need to, obviously, you need to run a business, right? I mean, you need to pay. I feel like every company should do 30 days after invoice, but they don't. So, you know, that's just the way they are. What else for when you're starting? Obviously, when you're starting, remember this, because we started doing a lot of this as well. Your van is a big empty box, right? You don't always have to rely on the CX, right? There's Facebook Marketplace, there's Gumtree, there's all that stuff. You can do some removals, you can do anything that you can possibly get your hands onto, especially when you're starting fresh and then your invoice are 45 days from the end of the month. You need some cash flow, and if you need some cash flow, this is where you can get it from, like removals and all that stuff. Make sure you do all that stuff. If you can do it, just do it. I mean, find it, do it. That's what you need to do. Don't only rely on the CX every day. Make sure you do some removals or some I don't know, whatever you can get yourself, you can get your hands on. Just do it. I mean, because right now we're doing a few removals at the moment, which we didn't really do before, but now I feel like we're gonna do more of that because it pays, and then it pays cash and all that stuff. So it turns out to be a good thing for us. Do you get what I'm saying? So that's what we on. That's what we're doing right now as well. Do you know what I mean? Because you can charge £60 an hour for 2 people, minimum of 2 hours. You're looking good. Do you know what I mean? You're looking good. Easy money. So a bit of removal and all that stuff. Just make sure you do it. You don't have to always rely on the CX. All right? Rely on other stuff. Just try everything that you can possibly try, because you need the money now sometime. Well, not like everyone's got money, you need the money now. So that's what I think. I'm gonna finish this because I wanted to do a 15 minutes video, but so I'm on 2 minutes left. My O license, we're working on that, we're almost done. We should probably get one by maybe latest December, the end of December or the beginning of January. We should start running around March, because I don't want to buy a lorry because it's dead between January and February till March. So that's why I'm gonna start running then. I'm gonna still make videos about vans because I still have vans, and obviously I'm gonna start making also videos because I was kind of combine them together. I want to start making videos about the lorries and all that stuff. You'll see more vlogs about the lorry when I actually get one, because I'm gonna do it more long distance. Because at the moment I only do airport runs, so you can't really see what's going on. I'm also gonna film my yard and where the vans and the lorry are kept and all that stuff, so you see more of like how is it to run a small business. Yeah, so that's to come. That's to come soon. What else are we doing? That's it really. But in that note, I'm gonna let you go. If you have any other questions that you want to talk to me about, please send it to me and I'll respond. Sorry, I don't respond because there's a lot of questions and all that stuff, and then stuff. The negative questions such as, well, you don't pay your driver enough and all that stuff, mate. Until you start running your business, don't come talk to me about how much I pay my drivers. They get paid the average salary at the moment, and that's why everyone gets paid. So please, don't come for me for that, because I'm just not gonna respond. You know what I mean? So that's why I paid them, and they're happy with it. If they wasn't happy with it, they wouldn't be here. So that's right. Thank you everyone. We're getting a lot more subscribers. I owe someone 50 quid because I said when I hit 200 subscribers, I'm gonna pay someone 50 quid. So just send random names, or whoever comments on this video, whoever comments on this video, I'm I'm gonna pick a random guy, and then just send me an invoice, and then I'll send you the 50 quid. All right. That's it really, people. Have a nice day. Don't let anyone mug you off. If you have any other question, I'm happy to help. That's it really. Have a nice day. Again, have a nice weekend. Bye bye now.